Hi, welcome back to the Cincinnati Zoo Botanical Gardens Home Safari. I'm really excited to be with you here today because we're going to learn about the aardwolves. And we have Chippo, our female aardwolf. She's eating some of her insectivore diet, and she also has one of her favorite foods in there, which is hard-boiled egg, believe it or not. This is a really great chance to see that long tongue she has. She has a super long, sticky tongue that she uses, or she would use in the wild, to eat termites. An aardwolf can eat 200 to 300,000 termites in a single night. That's a lot. Chippo is, like I said, the female, and she has a darker face than our male, and we're going to have him out in a little bit later. You can also see that Chippo's putting her foot on the food dish to hold it in place, and even though they live in burrows, they do not dig their own burrows. So if you see these little tiny feet, you can see that that would be hard to dig a deep burrow with those little feet, but instead they take over the burrows of other animals, such as aardvarks and crested porcupines, and even spring hare. So they're the original recycle reusers of the planet. Also, when they're eating termites, unlike an aardvark who will dig with those big claws into the termite mounds, the aardwolf comes in after those animals and then eats everything else. So they eat all the leftovers and anything that's left on the ground. So you can see that long tongue of hers. And Chippo has a very dark face. Now, aardwolves are unique species. They are closely related to hyenas. If you've ever seen a striped hyena before, aardwolves look very similar. If they were next to each other, they wouldn't look similar though, because a striped hyena is much larger and much more muscular. We are at inside Night Hunters doing this live safari, and so because they go with our theme, they are nocturnal. So during the day they get into their burrows or a safe space for them and sleep. We're going to show you one of those safe spaces that they have here at the zoo as well. Aardwolves are also, they are not endangered, but they are an indicator species. So what that means is that they can tell if there's a problem in the ecosystem. So if their numbers dwindle, there must be something going on, which again is similar to an aardvark. And aardvark, that word means earth pig. Well, aardwolf means earth wolf, sorry. Earth wolf, even though they're not related to wolves. They aren't related to dogs, even though they kind of look a little bit like a dog. They're actually closer related to cats. Unlike the hyenas that they're related to as well, the hyenas are carnivores, which means they eat meat. Our aardwolves instead are insectivores. So that's why they eat all those termites. And that is pretty much all they eat. They have a very specialized diet. And another cool thing about them is you can see we have water dishes here in the exhibit, but in the wild, they very rarely drink because they get all of the liquid that they need, all of that nourishment from the termites. You can see great examples of that long teeth. Now their teeth, because they are insectivores, their teeth are these little pegs, and they have 25 teeth that are all relatively dull because of eating all of the crunchy termites, but they still, from evolution, do have a stronger jaw like their family members, the hyenas. But they don't use it for anything. It's just part of evolution that has not gone back for what they actually need it for. They're a really cool species. One thing I'm not sure if any of you know or not, but we are the only zoo in the United States that has aardwolves. So if you're here in Cincinnati watching, make sure you come in to see them. And if you're watching from afar, then come over and get a look at them. They're worth the trip.
Ready for some questions?
Sure. We're going to go ahead and bring Changa out, the male, and you'll get a chance to see him. His face is a little lighter, and that'll give you a good example to see.
Melinda wants to know, how long do they live?
In the wild, they would live 12 to 15 years old. In captivity, we have them living up to almost 19 years old because of such wonderful health care. And there's no predators here, obviously.
Willow wants to know, how many hours a day do they sleep?
Oh, a lot, Willow. That's a great question. And even when they go out and look for termites at night, they only go out and eat until their belly's full. And then once that is done, they go back home and go into their burrow and sleep. And they're quite unique for that as well.
Jack and Sam want to know about their fur. Is it soft or is it coarse?
It's very coarse. They actually have a mane, and if they become startled, it can be just experiencing new enrichment, but it also can be if they're scared or something. Their hair will stand up, and you might see that here. See that? Now that brings up a great point. Female, Chippo is the female. She's the darker face. In the hyena and aardwolf world, the female is always in charge. So the male is definitely, you can see, he wanted to come over there and she's like, no. But chicks rule here at Night Hunters. That is the case. You can see him getting a drink. I don't know if you can notice, he will stick his entire face in the water to drink, his entire nose. And you can see he's got a little of his diet stuck on his nose. And you can see from this plate, because their diet has no variety in it, really, what we do is we give them different ways to eat. So they might get their food on a big plate. It might be on a puzzle feeder. So what we do to get for an enriching factor and just to keep some novelty going on in their lives, we switch that up all the time.
Now, do they all drink like he's drinking, or is that just special to him?
She does too, but in the wild, like I said, they really don't drink. So that was like the fact that they're indicator species. If you see an aardwolf drinking, that means that they're running low on termites in that area.
Another question about their fur is, does their coat ever change?
No, it stays the same. When they were both younger, though, they were a little bit lighter. But I will tell you too, the softest part of all of their fur is right between their ears. And I know that because we do a lot of operative conditioning training with our aardwolves.
Nora wants to know, what is their best sense?
Oh, that's a great question. In an aardwolf's life, it's all about how something smells. You can see the black on the rocks over there by the food dish. That is an aardwolf scent marking. It's called pasting. And that tells other aardwolves or anyone, this is my area. And so when we go in and clean and take care of their habitat, they come right back in and say, wait a minute, this is my area. This is my space. And the male, that's one of his main jobs too, is to identify the territory. So he's out there doing all the scent marking while she's probably sleeping. The males also help take care of young as well.
Well, that's similar to our next question. Violet wants to know, what are the babies called?
They're called pups, sometimes cubs. A group of aardwolves, because they do live in groups, are a pack or a clan. And the clan is more for hyenas, but it's used interchangeably.
And about how many babies do they have in a litter?
1 to 2. On a very rare occasion, they can have 3.
Kira's interested if they're friendly to humans.
No, they're not really friendly to humans. We've spent a lot of time because here at the zoo, want to come over this way? Here at the zoo, we participate in some of their medical procedures so that it's not so stressful for them, so we get them accustomed to them. One of the things we can do is we can clean their ears and stuff. And I've been working with them for probably 4 years, and I would not say they're friendly. The word I would use for them more than anything would be shy. I mean, like I said, to me, they kind of do have characteristics of a dog, but they're not like a dog where they're going to get in your lap or do things like that.
Laura wants to know if they can make any noises.
Yes, they can. While we were setting this up for all of you guys today, Changa is in the back doing a little cry noise, just like a little cry. But again, like when they get excited or stressed, when they lift up the fur, that mane goes up. The other thing that happens too is they can roar. And all I can tell you is when the first time I heard someone say that, I was just like, what does that mean? But when you hear it, it's a roar. I mean, that's the only word that you can use for it. But that again is a stressful noise. I was putting some enrichment back into the back one day though, and he roared at me. I mean, it was like, you know, it's amazing. But they don't make a lot of other noises than that.
Ruthie wants to know, can they swim?
They don't really swim. They don't swim, they don't run fast, they don't climb, they don't dig. They're very specialized individual animals. We do give them water in a tub for them to play in, and if it has something in it, then they're more likely to pay. One of their favorite toys, enrichment toys, would be wiffle balls. And I think it's just because they move so easily.
Kira wants to know, how long is their gestation?
It's 90 to 100 days. So it's similar to the other cats. Well, not cats, but when I was talking about this earlier, how in the wild they'll have a burrow or a safe place. Well, what we've done here is done some modifications, and this is their safe place. So if you come to the zoo, we changed this out. It has scent, and it will put different enrichment items in it and things like that. So if you come in and you see them sleeping, we've got this so that it's safe to them, but they're close to you guys, so you can all get a chance to see them. And they're almost always together.
Nolan's wondering if they have any predators.
They do. Lions. Lions are their biggest predator. And sometimes leopards. They live in eastern and southern Africa. So any of the big predators in those areas would be the predators to them as well.
Rachel is wondering why they have such small feet.
Oh, it's because of the fact that that's a great question too. It's because of the fact that they aren't digging, I'm doing the hand motion, they aren't digging in the big termite mounds. They're kind of more shuffling around to find the termites on the ground.
You may or may not know this question, but Nora and Connor wanted to know, do they have stripes on their skin as well?
They don't.
Okay.
They don't. Unlike tigers, their skin, like if you have a dog or a cat at home and how they have the pinkish skin underneath, it's the same as it is with the Aardwolves.
And the last question is from Ethan. Are they endangered?
No, they're not endangered. But like I said, they're an indicator species. But they're very rare to have in a setting like ours, and we're very lucky and very fortunate to have them. And they're just incredible animals. So what I would like all of you to do, if you could, is please log in and take our quiz. It is a really cool Aardwolf facts, and just so you know, the keepers in our department, we were taking it earlier. So we want to see where you stand up against us. Thank you very much.